What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. We're going to talk a lot about that Nindies presentation, and I've seen some interesting opinions on it throughout the day yesterday online, and it's an interesting back and forth between different people who are either excited about indie games or getting kind of burned out on them. We're going to go over all of that. We're also going to talk about a lot of the games that were announced and, of course, release dates. There are a few that I'm pretty excited about, and I want to recommend to you guys that you check out and possibly pick up because they are worth picking up, and we'll kind of go over a few of those. First, though, I want to jump into some of the quick news, and we're going to start with this PlayStation 4 search functionality. Now, if you have used the PS4, well, since it came out, you know searching for stuff on the PlayStation Store is terrible. It is really, really bad. It's a very weird, almost like a system where you go through, you spin until you get to a letter, then you go to the next one and get a letter, then a number or anything, and it's half the time it doesn't even tell you what you want to see on the right. It's just a list of stuff between movies and music and all kinds of stuff. They've fixed it. Thankfully, it's something that I've always looked at and said, man, this is a really bad search function. They fixed it, and it's miles better. Now, this is something you don't have to update your firmware or anything. It's on their end, on the store, and you're going to see a picture of it here because they did put out a tweet where they actually give us a full keyboard, and as you're searching, you'll see stuff pop up on the right, whether they're showing their God of War, or maybe you want to search for Horizon Zero Dawn, or hey, Spider-Man's out in a few weeks. Maybe you want to search for Spider-Man and get that all preloaded and locked up for you. Much better, much appreciated there, Sony, because I can't believe, first of all, it's taken 4 years to get this done, but it is way better, so great. Also, probably one of my favorite Call of Duty games. Next, I think the original Black Ops, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 on the 360 is now backwards compatible on the Xbox One. So you can pick it up if you already have the disc even. You can pop it into your Xbox and you're off and running. It'll download the patch or even the full game, I guess, and you can start playing, which is really, really cool. Otherwise, if you need to buy it digitally, it's actually on sale for Gold members for $14.99. Otherwise, it's $19.99, but Modern Warfare 2 is a fantastic Call of Duty game. I mean, Modern Warfare 1 was already really good, but I think they took that game and just added a bunch to it, just refined it and put it out there. Also, of course, had one of the more controversial moments in a campaign for a shooter, I think probably ever, where at the point where it actually asks if you want to turn it off when you boot it up. And I remember at the time when it came out, it was in mainstream news and everything about the events that took place in the campaign. It was pretty crazy, but I think that was like, to me personally, I know people like Black Ops 2 and stuff, but that was like the height of Call of Duty for me, because at the time, it was Call of Duty versus Halo 3, and I would go back and forth between them, and they played drastically different, but I always looked at Modern Warfare 2 as the Call of Duty that I really liked and was right there for Halo 3 for me. It was really good. I would check it out. In fact, if you already have it, I guess dust it off, pop it in, and go play online and have some fun. And we did get a new 2DS XL bundle, well, at least shown to us, introduced. It's coming September 28th, and they, of course, introduced a purple 2DS XL. They put this out on Twitter in a tweet, and you're actually going to see a picture of the purple one here, which makes me look at it and go, oh, great, I guess I'll have to pick this one up. Now, it's purple, of course. We're all themed purple here, but it is coming with Mario Kart 7. Again, September 28th, $149.99, which is already the price of 2DS XLs for the most part, although I do occasionally see them marked down to like $130 in stores. I think there was like a $20 rebate going around for stores to sell the 2DS XLs cheaper, but to have Mario Kart 7, which is a game that they've also packaged in the past with their regular 2DS systems, be on a 2DS XL going into the holidays, I wonder, I feel like this is going to be another good holiday for the 3DS line, the family, if you will, 3DS system, since there's a lot of ones to pick from. New 3DS XL, the regular 2DS for $80, or the 2DS XL for $150, either of which come with Mario Kart 7. I feel like they should do a bundle for the new 3DS XL, similar to this, I guess, as like a big push into the holidays, but I guess the 2DS XL is like the system they want to move, since it's right there at that $150 price point, and it doesn't have the 3D, so you don't have to worry about how old is the, because they try to make it so I think it's for 7 and above. They don't want you to turn on the 3D or something, so in this case, the 2DS XL is kind of the best of both worlds. It has a good price point, comes with a game, you don't have to worry about the 3D. I mean, that's a good bundle, and going into the holidays, I think I'm going to see a lot of, I would expect a lot of these under some Christmas trees in December. All right, guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into some of the bigger stuff, starting with the Nindies presentation. See, the Nindies event took place. They told us about it last week, so we kind of already knew this was going to happen, and it was told that it was going to be an Indies presentation, but there were a lot of questions around games that we still kind of view as an indie game that maybe we shouldn't be as much. Travis Strikes Again is the one that I think everyone was expecting to be at this indie event that was kind of built up by Nintendo. The UK one was really not, from Gamescom, where Nintendo UK posted a lot of the stuff and even hosted their own indie event, and that kind of just popped up. Whereas this one, they kind of built up to it for a couple days after they really announced it and said, be there for this Nindies event. So I think we were expecting a lot out of this, and I don't think it hit as hard as a lot of people wanted to. I think a lot of people wanted that Travis Strikes Again release date, which we're going to get, I believe, in the next 2 weeks or so when that Nintendo Direct does get announced for the fall. That's when we're going to see it. I think Travis Strikes Again is becoming less of an indie game now, as we see GameStop having the price set at $60, which I feel like this game, if it comes out at $60, is going to struggle. But that we'll talk about when Nintendo does, actually set the price, and maybe GameStop has its placeholder and everything. We'll get to that if it happens, but I'm thinking that's more of a $30 to $40 game, digital versus retail, for example. But let's talk about what we did have in front of us at this Nindies presentation. There were a lot of newer games that they showed, and then also some older games that were coming over, and it was about 15 to 20 minutes, about 20 minutes of actual games being shown off. Some of the bigger ones did include games like Hyper Light Drifter. Now, if you have not played this game, I heavily recommend it. It's a special edition. You can pre-purchase it today, and it's going to be launching September 6th. So about a week or so from now, a little over a week, you'll be able to pick that one up. Great game. I recommend absolutely picking it up. Towerfall is going to be coming out September 27th. We're going to start going through some of these here. Treasure Stack is coming out this winter. No straight release date on that one. Minico's Night Market, which looked kind of interesting. That one kind of looked like almost like they were taking a lot of inspiration from Animal Crossing. Early 2019. Samurai Gun 2 looked kind of cool. That's when they were hitting people with the sword. It kind of would freeze for a minute. Parts of the screen go black, and then there would be a clear stripe there where you hit them. That was super dramatic, looking pretty cool. Early 2019. There were some other ones as well, kind of some pretty small indies there. I was a little surprised by that, but they also had things like Levelhead, which might give us a window into how they would do something like a Mario Maker on the Switch, since it is a level building game, and it looked interesting. That's out in November. I want to see if you can do things like I guess share content, as they say, how that works between PC, iOS, and Android, as they're saying it will. That would be kind of cool to have a large, I guess, pool of people kind of sharing their content everywhere. Untitled Goose Game. I first saw this, and I was a little confused by it, but that, believe it or not, had probably the best reception between a lot of people. It's a weird looking game because you play as a goose and you go around trying to ruin people's days, whether it's through being stealthy and stealing stuff, or I guess just running around and causing havoc. You get challenges and stuff to do. It's kind of an interesting looking game that I'll probably look into, and that's not out till early 2019. They did also mention a Nindies kind of like news channel they're going to start doing, where they're going to have features, updates, announcements, all kinds of stuff. You can actually go pick that indie channel up if you go into Find Channels in the news app. And then they also hit us with a bunch of release dates for several games, rapid fire. Here we go. The Messenger out August 30th. Everyone should go buy that game. Outstanding game, by the way, out tomorrow. Bastion, September 13th. Wasteland 2 Director's Cut, September 13th. Undertale, September 18th. Lightfingers, September 20th. Super Brothers, that's October. Jack Party Box, that's pack 5 in October. Transistor, which was really cool to see, by the way, November. Desert Child in December. And then Dragon Marked for Death, which I'm very glad we have a release date. I think it's coming a little late, though, but it'll still work because it's going to be a digitally distributed indie game, essentially, December 13th. So I was really happy to get that Undertale release date. Transistor and Bastion are outstanding games. Hyper Light Drifter is one you should be picking up next week. Special edition and everything. Very, very cool. I'm looking forward to playing that. Undertale, 3 days later than I thought, because remember I said September 15th? Nope, September 18th. So overall, I thought it was a good event for the most part. There wasn't anything heavy hitting. They did have Into the Breach that actually released yesterday by the creators of FTL. So that was it's dropping now. It dropped a few hours, I think, after the indie event closed. So we did at least have a drop of some kind. Pretty cool, because I think a lot of people were waiting for it, but I was looking for, like a lot of us were thinking, something like a Travis Strikes Again, a Shakedown Hawaii. They missed a lot of stuff. Shovel Knight wasn't there. I feel like some of the stuff is being saved, specifically Shovel Knight and Travis Strikes Again. I don't know about Shakedown Hawaii. That one might be maybe next year, which is crazy. That game's been, I feel like, talked about for a while now. But games like Travis Strikes Again, I think, has been kind of upgraded out of the indie presentations. It did debut in an indie event, so that's why a lot of us figured it'll be at an indie event. It was not, though. I thought this was average. It showed a lot of cool indie games, but it didn't really blow anyone away, and I think that's fine. It kind of just, it's an indie event. They told us it was an indie event getting started, so if they had said, this is a Nintendo Direct, get ready, I think a lot of people would have been really mad right now, but they told us ahead of time, and they basically didn't want us to get too crazy. They want to say it's an indie event, you know, get excited for indie games, and we'll see you guys probably next month for the official Fall Direct, where we're going to announce some games that people are going to be excited about. There is, of course, the new Super Mario Bros. Game that everyone knows about that is coming, but there are a few other cool games in there that I think people will be happy about, so hold up a little bit, okay? Because when we get into there, I think some people will be pretty happy. Just give it a few more weeks at least for, I assume, this Nintendo Direct to be announced, because they have some games that are coming out this year that they need to get announced soon. And I did see some people a little frustrated with it because there are so many indie games. They're seeing them look very similar and everything, and I can kind of understand that, but these are mostly games that you can buy if you want. It was an indie event. They told us it was an indie event, and I do think some people went in expecting to see, like, Nintendo games and stuff announced here. Now, this was specifically for smaller games that Nintendo is working to put a light on, and I like that they're doing that, and I think there are a few reasons for that. I think the biggest one right now with Nintendo is they are continuing to try to make good relationships and partnerships with developers who are up and coming, if you will, right? Developers who may look to Nintendo maybe because they build that relationship that Nintendo maybe likes because they see talent with them to possibly publish a game and lock it up for their system, maybe help fund something that they have an idea for. I think they're opening up communication by doing this with all of these indie developers, and indie developers are generally the most creative developers in the industry right now, so I think it's good for Nintendo to do this, but we did just have 2 Nindy Directs in like a week and a half, like what, 8 or 9 days? So it was a lot of indie games, so I can see how people are just like, I'm seeing so many smaller games, but I think the UK one was better, and that's weird because that was a surprise, and I know, yeah, it had Windjammers too, okay, it's automatically better, but that one was a surprise, dropped more games, right, I think 3 games dropped at the time of that indie event, and it was a surprise. This one was built up for days, and it was not as good as that one. Very interesting to see there, but let me know what you guys think about this Nindy event. Are there any you're picking out, you're interested in, or are you just like on cruise control until the Nintendo Direct and some, hopefully, bigger games get shown off. When we get back to Nintendo announcing games rather than a lot of their smaller indie counterparts. Next up, let's talk about Heartbreak. And by Heartbreak, I mean Wild Arms. And by Wild Arms, I mean the latest mobile game that showed up on my browser that said Wild Arms, and then I didn't see mobile until I checked it out, unfortunately. The press release, some of those press releases just kill me, because it's like Wild Arms, and then you have to go to it, and then it's like on mobile, and it's like, ah, man, that hurts. So Wild Arms is technically coming back, but it is being relegated to mobile games. Wild Arms, of course, is maybe a game you played back on the PlayStation 1, PS2, for example. The original Wild Arms, I know, was fairly popular. Evan loves that game, and it looks like it's coming back, but for mobile games. And Sony Interactive Entertainment's mobile branch, ForwardWorks, is actually the one working on this, and they had kind of teased it prior, and a lot of us thought, oh cool, maybe a Wild Arms, then we realized they would be doing it mobile. Yeah, here it is, it's mobile. It's called Wild Arms Million Memories. I would like to see them do something more with this outside of mobile, but currently it's coming out in Japan in 2018. They're going to have a full reveal on August 31st at 9 p.m. Japan time in a live stream, so I guess we'll see more about it then. It's just a shame to see a franchise that I really liked back in the PS1 days, like I said, Evan even more so, and now it's a mobile game. Mobile games aren't inherently bad, it's just, it's not on my PlayStation or my Switch or I guess my Xbox, but let's be real, it's a Japanese game, it's going to be on the PS4 or the Switch. And our last bit of news, let's talk about Spider-Man. It's out. next Friday, not this Friday, the following Friday, September 7th. Looking great. Review copies appear to be out in the wild right now, so people are playing it and getting their thoughts in. Some have even gotten out early, and people are just talking about it online right now, so, you know, look out for spoilers. As I saw on a couple websites, some like community posting websites, people are like, hey, Spider-Man spoilers in here. Oh, good. So watch out for that. They did give us an idea of when we can expect the first DLC. It's a bit sooner than I think I would have liked. It's coming out in October. It's actually October 23rd. They put out a full tweet about it. And according to them, it's going to be called The City That Never Sleeps. It's Spider-Man's The Heist, and it will be released October 23rd. You play the base game, you realize that Felicia Hardy, who's of course Black Cat, is back in town, leaving clues around the town to toy with Spider-Man, and from there they will also have several other DLCs throughout November and December. One's going to be called Turf Wars, the other one is called Silver Lining. It might be a bit soon because, of course, we're used to things from Capcom. Just as an example, I know I've made fun of Capcom quite a bit, but Capcom had the on-disc DLC, the Day 1 DLC, and you start to see that, and you start to look at these things as cut content. We'll see. We'll see how big the DLC is and everything first before we say cut content or anything. But hey, more Spider-Man, I guess, for fans of the game. Maybe you finish it and you're like, I want more. Well, there you go. You're going to have a couple months, actually, of content getting released to look forward to. And guys, before I'm going to leave Newswave today, make sure you guys like the video if you liked it, dislike it if not. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's the Nindies presentation or Spider-Man with the DLC. Maybe we'll talk about that. Or maybe you want to talk a bit about this mobile game, Wild Arms, that Sony seems to be developing and not actually developing for systems. Kind of a shame. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.